So we're good to go.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. Call to order. Please have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Bethel.
Here.
Trustee Winkleblack.
Here.
Trustee Price.
Here.
Trustee Solly.
Here.
Mayor Wilcox.
Here. Okay. Number 5, persons not on the agenda. And there's nobody, I believe, that wishes to speak or take 3 minutes. So we'll go to item number 6.
Did you skip changes and deletions to the agenda?
Oh, I did. So do we have any changes or deletions to the agenda?
I would love for us to discuss and maybe establish some business hours.
Okay,
That's the main complaint, is that our doors are not open, and if we want to contract with a temp service to get somebody up here, we're gonna have to have business hours, so.
as for right now, your available hours are the same as they have been.
Yeah, and I can make myself available Thursday through Friday. Monday or 9 to at least 1. And then if I can accommodate longer than that, I can accommodate longer than that, but and I will try and give advance notice when that doesn't happen and I can't be here.
Right.
But as you all are aware, I actually have 2 other jobs. And so I'm trying to put all the pieces together. And I don't have a huge obligation at my attorney's office, but I still do have obligations there that I have to.
Well, if we could just add it for discussion and direction. After. Maybe. Insert it.
After, okay, before number 6.
Yeah.
For persons not on the agenda.
I don't care, we just need to
Yeah.
discuss it.
No, that's fine.
I would motion that we add a discussion and direction for town hall business hours being added to the agenda.
Okay, and I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We have a vote.
Trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Bethel.
Yeah.
Trustee Solly.
Yes.
Trustee Price,
Yes.
Mayor Wilcox,
Yes.
motion passes unanimous.
Okay. So what can we do to extend the hours and can we give?
Yeah, Dusty, would you rather have a Monday through Thursday schedule and have your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or would you rather have a Tuesday through Friday?
I don't, either way is fine.
Okay, well, I think long-term, like to establish maybe an administrative assistant that's a local mom or something. It would be really nice to have business hours that are Monday through Thursday to accommodate if they have kids in sports on Friday or evenings or. I think it, and Debec is, I checked with them, they're open Monday through Thursday. It's a common practice. There's a municipality I've been in touch with on the east slope and they're open Monday through Thursday and I just would like to see regular business hours set and followed so that, and I know Dusty, I'm not saying That's because we brought you on as part-time. But we need some availability to the public, and if we can get somebody in here immediately from one of the staffing agencies, we need to give them direction of the hours. So that's why I'm asking for us to establish business hours.
Just as we're establishing those hours and I'm committed to that, just know that because I'm doing the job of 4 people technically.
Yeah.
There will be times when I'm in this building that door has to be locked,
Right,
or I can't get what needs to be done.
Right.
Done.
right.
And so I asked for great patience from the community,
Exactly.
during this,
Right.
transition, and I know they've been asked multiple times to be patient.
Right,
So, and I again ask,
yeah,
because like I said, even if we commit to that Monday through Thursday,
right,
we have a lot of stuff coming down.
Yes.
That has tight deadlines that I'm gonna need to start working.
yeah. Well, and that would be the goal, to bring in a temp agency so that they can be here during those open business hours, so you can get your stuff done.
So many people are doing. To be open while.
Yeah.
Right. And so.
Well, Dusty said her biggest distraction is the telephone and people coming in, right?
Utilities.
Yeah. So,
Are there some times that maybe one of the guys can come over from maintenance to take some of those phone calls or take notes, or do we call, do you know of any temp agencies like SOS that would have somebody that would be familiar with that type of work?
There's a landmark.
yeah, I called Landmark, and they said, you pretty much come up with what skills you're looking for. So, if you want somebody fresh out of high school that's just a warm body, that's one thing. If you want somebody that's skilled in some administrative work like utility bill, that's a different set of skills that we would write out as a request. So so if you want utility help billing, then we need more than phone answer.
We need to be more of an administrative assistant.
And even then, maybe lock the door so that you could do some training, so that you could show them.
Yeah, training is a whole separate issue.
Right,
Because now I'm keeping the job of 3 people going,
right.
and now I'm gonna have to take time away from those 3 separate jobs to train.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I'm training myself at this point, and I don't mean it disrespectfully. Jenny did a great job of leaving all kinds of notes, and so when I say I'm training myself, I'm learning from what she has left behind and the instructions.
Good for her.
So again, looking at that, training is gonna be hard.
Right.
We've kind of really worked ourselves into a horrible situation here.
Right.
And I don't know where we find the time
Mm-hmm.
to train and to get all of it done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So administrative assistant utilities and.
Dustin, do you have indication that this link is working on the Zoom? Because Denise just indicated to me she's trying to launch on Zoom and he said it's not
From the website?
working. The Zoom, she's trying to zoom in on the website.
It should be should be. If she will send the town clerk an email,
Pardon me.
if she will send the town clerk an email, I can send her an invite. Like I'll send her individually that link.
The invite or the link should be on the town website.
It should be,
Should be working. Okay. Maybe it's just
all the other stuff.
maybe it's just a problem at our place. I don't know.
We're having major internet issues that I don't know about here.
So do you have a lead, or what service do you have internet wise?
Really?
Okay. Has she tried off of your cell service?
Well,
So basically, we're gonna be looking for an administrative billing professional.
Right, but right now we're trying to discuss the.
Yes, ma'am.
At one time, the town hall hired kids from the job corps that had secretarial training. Would that be a possibility to help out Dusty?
Yeah.
I've received an email from Todd Cole,
Uh-huh,
because you guys approved the MOU at the
Yeah.
last meeting.
Yeah.
And she did advise me that they do have, someone there with administrative skills. So
mhm,
along with those lines,
mhm.
she already offered Michelle from Todd Cole.
Have they talked about, because Kendall and I talked about that, and, we don't know if they put the students on a rotation, like, because Kendall was more worried about you having to retrain a new person every day, what needs done.
Yeah, and she just mentioned one.
One,
She said specifically there was one person.
oh,
There was,
that
had
sounds
some
good.
administrative skills,
See what they're, they'll be.
so I
Mhm,
definitely touch base with her.
mhm.
yeah, see, if we have to pick them up, and normally if it's a student, you know, in the past, it can be picked up and checked out
I thought staff delivered them, maybe not.
and then taken back. But I guess that's a question that could be asked, whether the staff could then give them a ride up and pick them up, or,
Mhm.
and then what the wages are that we have to pay the student. But I'm certainly in favor of if they get somebody that
Yeah.
has got some skills to come in and help you,
Mhm.
give you the authority to do that.
Mhm.
What how the rest of the board feels about that, but
For temporary, I mean, something's gonna happen, something's gonna get done, she needs help. So, are you down with that?
Would they be allowed to stay open by themselves unsupervised till 4? Like if we did 9 to 4? Do you know about that?
I think an adult has to be with them at all times if it's a
I
student.
think they are adults.
Well, I think that if they're students, they still have to be supervised.
Do you know, Derek?
No,
Any projects that I've seen them around town, there got to be, you know, some type of supervision. And even if it's amongst the board, I mean, I don't mind being in here. You know, take turns or something being in here so that there is somebody in here, but there again, you have if you're not here, you're the one with the keys, or Mike. I guess Mike could lock things up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, he's got the code to the front door. Mike does.
So,
you know, Marilyn Anderson is one that's in charge of the business administration program. She'd be the person to talk to. In terms of utilizing the students, job corps students.
Yeah, so that'd be the main question, if staff has to be present for them to be here, or if they can manage on their own for those like 3 hours. So the item I thought we were on was hours, so if anybody has any input about hours.
well, I think it depends on if we can. Are you okay if Dusty contacts Maryland, and then if they've got somebody that has some of those skills to bring down, and then
I mean,
whether we bring over staff, a staff person from maintenance for 3 hours, or one of us volunteers to be here until closing, and Mike comes over and locks things up.
we could check with Maryland and see, you know, it's gonna be highly unlikely that they're allowed to do that, but, you know, but sometimes the students go down to Junction and they're on an OJT training status, so if we talk to, I think Carrie Lucas and Marilyn Anderson would be the ones to talk to, and if we want to designate it as OJT training, that might be a possibility,
Be good.
you know,
But
but
it too.
things though, I mean, are we advertising for these positions? Have we been advertising to fill the administrative position? Have we advertised to fill the, you know, any of these positions? That's what's most important.
The question be there being, why hasn't it been done?
Yeah. Well, you know, so I mean, regardless of why it hasn't been done, that's water under the bridge. What I'm saying though is we're gonna be in a bad situation if we can't, I mean, look at the situation Dusty's in, I mean, she's overwhelmed. And she certainly has clerk qualifications and needs some training, and we had that offer from from Carla to help her out, but you know, we pissed her off and so she's no longer interested in assisting her. So we need to get somebody on board. We need to get an administrative manager on board, and we need to get a town clerk on board, or get Dusty the training that she needs to be successful in the job.
Well, we need to do all the above.
So we need to get it advertised, to get people on board.
So we need to get to advertising, and that's it. We
Yeah.
Start looking. You know, water under the bridge and began, it should have been started 3 months ago.
Well, you're right in terms of,
That was their job,
Good.
find position, give other people the job.
Hindsight being 2020, the hours that Dusty was in here in the morning, we probably should have locked the doors in the morning and had them training Dusty and then them taking over the office in the afternoon and keeping the office open till the doors were closed, so that Dusty didn't have to handle all the phone calls and the water billing and stuff. But that's just hindsight being 2020.
Okay, so then right now. We need to get somebody hired. We need to see about getting the Tim from Job Corps, if they're available, if there is one. And we need to get things going, because it should have been started 3 months ago.
If that can post some, make some posts for advertising on the jobs, anything that would assist or help Dusty.
So can we, Dusty, can we use the administrative assistant posting job description that we have to get out to the Landmark, SOS and Job Corps? And then discuss, I keep trying to redirect hours because that's the item we're on, but maybe we should just throw hours out there like Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, and then go from there. If we have to change them later. So can we close the hours discussion? Is everybody okay with like Monday through Friday, 9 to 4? Does somebody else have opinions or requests?
So if we're doing
Or Monday through,
Friday,
sorry, Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Friday, that means I get off work, I come over here, get off work, come over here to be with that person, or
I don't have time to sit for somebody, and it's real nice to say we do, but we really don't. So I would say that it doesn't work out if that person needs supervision every minute.
did we not put a position up a couple months ago for somebody to do the front desk?
Nope.
Okay. I thought we had people that came in, put in an application.
People did put in applications for the administrative assistant, but it wasn't posted.
I don't mind coming down temporarily and being here and as adults so that they're not left alone, but I certainly can't train them or whatever, just
I could be here, so I can train.
right. Just want to make sure that they're
So can we decide hours for now?
following their guidelines for hours.
Well, Dusty needs time, she can't be playing with people from this time to this time.
Right,
I understand that,
So-
yeah.
And if you're only here from what
Right.
time to what time?
9 to.
On most days, 9 to 1.
So I mean, we don't have,
Some days.
Some days till 11.
But I, again, hate to give your citizens, but I understand there's already talk on your community page. I hate to give your citizens false hope that it's gonna be open and up and running, and it's not.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not saying to post hours right this minute, I'm saying to let, Landmark SOS know, these are the hours we need you. And then as we hire somebody, I'm not saying tomorrow we're open 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to be able to give direction to whoever we contract with.
Right.
So I would throw,
Yeah, I would say Monday through Thursday from 9 to 4 would be fine.
um,
Sound good to me.
I would motion that the hours that we request with a temporary staffing agency or Job Corps would be Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4, and these could eventually be the goal of our new long-term hours after we have the staff to fulfill those hours.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
There you go. Yeah, anything okay with that?
Well,
Just any thoughts at all, Gary? You okay? Since we have a small galley, any input?
I can come in and try and help you. I mean, I'll be gone next week to Idaho, then we'll be back to the 31st, but I can help you the whole month of June.
As a volunteer or?
If you can't get somebody from the Job Corps in, or get some as, a temp service or whatever, but I mean, I can come in and lock up if needed.
What?
at one point in time, when we were trying to bring somebody on the interim, we had considered Barb Smith. What about considering Barb Smith to come in?
Yeah, she was, and we went another direction because Barb wasn't available full-time yet. And we still didn't have our office open the hours that we thought we would, so. And she does sound like a good,
I mean, she has background. She could do some training, depending upon her hours. And I think the thing is that we need to bring somebody on board that can help Dusty in terms of training her, because Barb has some background with it. But also maybe we could balance the operation hours with Barb's schedule and Dusty's schedule.
Yeah, Barb needed to be in Switzerland or
yeah,
something,
it's like
part
in the country.
part
I
of
mean,
it,
Barb wanted to work, what, 4 days, 3 days a week?
3 days a
She
week.
said in the beginning, and then she was ready, she wants to be semi-retired, which.
She lives down in Jefferson, she still may be willing to do that, and I think we have some expertise, because anybody else that we bring on board. It'd be the same kind of situation when we look for, had Angie, we had Barb, we had that other lady that, I forget, I couldn't find her, resume, but we had another lady.
Management at Powderhorn lady.
No, but she was even.
Lady up in Salt Creek.
That's
That
Angie.
was-
Isn't that
I thought her
Angie?
name was Leslie.
But really, second to
Andrea.
Angie, she was, we were looking at her, and I think that's the thing about it, bring somebody on board that has her background. Can
Right.
do some training and
Yeah.
alleviate and be here for the hours that Dusty can, until Dusty can work her schedule. And otherwise, if we burn her out, then we're really screwed.
So,
Don't burn it up.
yeah, I would. I guess I would make a motion that we let Dusty contact Barb and,
We're in the middle of a motion on hours.
the hours, yes. Okay, any further discussion? May we have a vote?
Trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Bethel.
Yes.
Trustee Price,
Yes.
trustee Solid.
Yes.
Mayor Revolt.
Yes. Okay, item number 6, staffing discussion.
Good night.
Yes.
I know you don't know my background, but I do have a lot of this experience already. So,
You know what hours you'd be able to volunteer as far as,
I can pretty much come in whenever you need me. I mean, I can do your billing, I can answer your phone.
But you're not looking for a long-term permit,
No.
you're looking just to help.
I'm just willing to help, and I do have experience.
like to volunteer?
I do payroll,
Mhm,
I do accounts payable, I do accounts receivable, I do all that,
mhm,
and I do it for municipalities,
mhm,
special districts.
mhm.
So I do have the background in being.
Right.
But, you know. You start tomorrow, all you gotta do is say so,
Mhm.
I can. Start tomorrow, I can come in and answer phones, and I can come in and. Word off the draft piece and does even work. And I'm happy to do that, but no, I don't want a long-term, anything long-term, because I'm not technically a Colorado resident. My business is in Idaho, and I have a bookkeeping business that I have 16 clients that I do books. So, but you could fill in until they're ready. Yeah, yes, I'm willing to do that for you. For free.
Dusty, what days are you gonna be here? Are you 4 days, 3 days?
You're probably people.
Or, mhm.
And I'm willing to give you my resume.
With that,
Monday through Thursday, with what
with
really?
that realization that isn't.
Right.
I'm trying not to let that interfere, but
Right.
it may.
Okay.
Well, if you're available and you're willing to volunteer, until we get things going and maybe advertise, get some of these jobs advertised out here, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And invite that,
28 years.
Mhm.
so. Is that okay with you, Dusty? Is there any thoughts on that?
What?
You have any thoughts on that? You okay with that? So you get some time to yourself to focus?
Immediately.
Okay.
Do we have like the volunteer sheet where
She's wanting
there's
to
like,
come in and answer phones and do billing and take water and stuff so that Dusty can focus on some of the other stuff, take some of the load off of Dusty while we get, whether it's in contact with Job Corps for a temp agency or somebody else to fill in.
Full-time position.
Right, for a full-time position. Melanie is willing to come in and volunteer for free.
But we'd have somebody right away. It's scary.
Volunteer for how much, Mel? I mean, how many hours were you? Well, I mean, I just, like I said earlier, I mean, I just think that, I mean, Melanie is willing to come in and volunteer some of the time and everything, but that's not the bigger problem that we have. I guess I think we're just talking about something here that we need to.
We need to fill some positions, but in the meantime, until we get those positions filled, that would give Dusty the time to advertise for those positions and get.
Give her a chance to hire
Yeah, give us a chance to hire somebody.
I would say you get a hold of this person at Job Corps immediately tomorrow, one of you, and find out the specifics to getting somebody from there. And if they might be able to send you somebody over
tomorrow?
Monday or tomorrow or Friday. You know, get on, when you guys get on the phone, you call them, and I don't know anybody down there, so I know Tammy, but I don't think she's over that part.
You know, I just frankly don't think the Job Corps is gonna work from the standpoint, Dusty still would have to supervise these individuals. It's not freeing her up from anything that she needs to do. You know, so I don't think that's the solution. I think we need to bring somebody on board, like I said earlier, like Barb, or advertise again. Somebody who has some background, some expertise, and they can train her. That's the way I think we need to go.
Well, I have no problem with,
Well,
working with Barb and.
Bruce Smith said he's available too. and he knows our municipality.
And I'm just not narrowing it down to bar, but I think, and then we need to go that route again. Even though, you know, and find somebody who can come on board, work some hours, give some training. And work in that direction, so that, you know, we should be advertising and bringing somebody on board, and somebody to help us. You know, that's the same thing too, when we do, like, when we were interviewing these guys for the water. I don't think all three of them should have been on listening to the whole interview.
No.
And I think we should ask the same questions for every one of them. Okay, we're not doing it. And I think, you know, we need to get our ducks in a row, if we do interview some of these people, that we only have that person on. And that we all ask the same question.
Absolutely.
So the solution to that is a hiring committee. It's 2 board members, maybe a retired somebody, our clerk, and maybe a public works guy. It's not normal to hire or interview anybody in the form that we've been doing, and that's not our decision. I mean, our agendas are written and given to us, and we don't have any input. And they moved them out of executive session, at least because CML told us, or not CML, CIRSA said not to do them in executive session. But that was never any of our decisions as board members to interview in a bulk, unorganized fashion. So
Nevertheless, I'm just talking about going forward.
moving forward, we need a committee with 2 board members. And that committee can compile questions and a plan and go into interviewing and then come back and report to the rest of the board. That's how it's normally done.
I'm gonna interrupt all this, but isn't there a job description? Not the 80 or anything like that?
Well, we just hired a water attorney,
Oh, okay. I'm talking
so, yeah.
other positions.
But sometimes it's nice to say, how do you how do you handle conflict? How do you handle
absolutely.
this? How do you handle that?
Any questions here?
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
What setting, not so much like we.
in a public, right? Yeah.
Never do.
And it's kind of,
Public, yeah, that's-
it's kind of human. I had to be interviewed on a table once, like 12 of us, and they just bought questions,
Absolutely.
and it was kind of nerve-wracking, so.
That's what we did, in restaurant, you know, get 15 people to volunteer to turn on into get up there, and we all have the same questions. But each person went through and we got the answer from, you know, just you have a question, you have, and the question that everyone. That he said,
Right. Well, I would suggest getting in touch with Bruce Smith. He's worked for our town. He knows how to go over contracts. He was highly educated and then came from Pueblo or something where he had a ton of experience. And then he went on and worked for other municipalities. And I contacted him and asked if he was willing to come get on board for a temporary contract just to if the board wanted to go that direction. And he said absolutely temporary because he's retired, but to get us pointed in the right direction. He was just kind of confused why we do need so much staff, because 10 years ago we had a clerk and treasurer and then a part-time administrator. And then we got a lot of staff. And so he would be a good set of eyes to get on and review it and train staff and help. And he said, be a part of that hiring committee and give advice.
Well, I think we need to advertise the same way they advertise Angie. Give it 2 weeks and do some interviews, and I believe that the interviews ought to be conducted by all 5 members. Everybody has a different perspective, different, not different questions. We should put together our questions that we're going to present, but there's no reason why we can't do all 5 on the interview. If somebody can't attend it, but I think it needs to be a forum to do the interviews. And I think it needs to happen as soon as possible, get them on board. Somebody has a qualification, somebody who could help train Dusty, somebody who can meet some of the hours that would need to be open that she's not able, she's not able.
Well, there again, I think Bruce Smith is qualified and Barb from Grand Junction. I don't know Barb personally, I just know that.
I couldn't find the other lady's Jen,
And
Andrea,
oh, here we go, here's Andrea. So, yeah, Andrea.
she didn't have municipal.
But we really didn't hardly talk to him because of, I think what we were looking for, maybe.
This lady has municipal.
Yeah, she doesn't have an awful lot.
that's Barb Smith and Bruce Smith are the two people that have
Yeah.
municipal experience.
Leslie Ann Kleffmeyer, Andrea, Barb, and Angie. We have those four individuals. But I think we ought to advertise once again, because we may get different people that, you know.
Leslie Ann was on Zoom, am I correct?
One of them was from another town.
Yeah.
Well, Andrea Reynolds really did have the background. I mean, in terms of her prior experience, I mean, she had some of the job up at, Powell. But I think Barb and Leslie, I think, were the two that really had the background.
Wasn't Leslie local?
The two local is Bruce and Barb.
She was from, well, her work history is in Paonia, which I don't know if that. I've heard some things about Paonia, but some people hear things about us too. Nevertheless, I just think we should advertise once again, because we may get new people. We could touch base with Barb also. But I think it's something that we need to get on right now and not wait to see. Job corps, I just don't think it's gonna work, not from their standpoint, from, you know, it's not gonna help Angie at all. I mean, Dusty at all. You know, to try and train a kid to sit there at the desk, and it's gonna take time off of her. We need somebody that will train her. So that's what I think most immediate that we need to get taken care of.
Absolutely, so we need to get on that, and if Melanie's willing to help us out for a week or 2 or 3, I think we should take everything we can possibly get right. That way it gives Dusty time to do what Dusty needs to do. And Melanie can help out.
Can we, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
don't think you need somebody that has municipal experience to come in and answer the phone
No,
and take payments and help with doing your billings. I mean, that position is.
he's talking administrator, why don't,
Right.
but
Still need an administrator and
I would suggest contracting Bruce Smith to come in, review everything and get advertised for the positions and assist with the committee to the hiring committee and advise.
He would be temporary anyway.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't, he's retired.
He doesn't want a job, but he would
No.
be a good one to line us out and say,
Mhm.
okay, this is what you need and get things advertised like what you want.
Bruce, you talking about Bruce, who was the town
Mhm.
administrator one time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You know, the thing is though, I mean, through DOLA and CERTA, we should be able to find organizations that we could, you know, that we recommend that we would advertise to those organizations also, you know. I mean, we need to be advertising through professional organizations that tap into the people who are qualified to do
well,
that.
that's gonna happen, but we still need somebody now.
And Bruce knows how to hire and recruit.
And Bruce probably has connections with those organizations still, because he was in it for so long. So,
I would say that we need to throw out a motion to contact Bruce Smith, see if he's willing to come on and assist with these things. And then contact those temporary agencies and get immediate with the administrative assistant job description to get these hours fulfilled.
so that we have the directives,
And then,
priorities and the directives.
and then, take
Right.
Melanie up on her position to volunteer until we get as available. As you're leaving?
I think next Tuesday, we'll be back to the 31st.
So this week you could help in that.
I have to go up there and set up an.
I don't like the idea of contacting temporary agencies. I like the idea of contacting professional organizations. Temp agencies are not. I had a good friend that worked, I mean, he supervised a temp agency and, normally in temp agencies, you don't have people that have the qualifications that we're looking for. Well, I want to go to serve someone, to go some of these other organizations that can, guide, that can help us in a way to, I mean, how did we advertise and get Andy, how did we get Barb, how did we,
What we're looking for is just get the door open full time. That's the temp agency. That's just a temporary fix. It's just a Band-Aid. And a lot of people advertise through the temp, get jobs through the temp agency that end up being wonderful employees that are long term. And the great thing about them is we're not stuck with them. Dusty could call them tomorrow and say, I'm sorry, I need somebody with more administrative experience. Or I'm sorry,
I
that's
guess it all depends on I guess we just have to look at the resume. I mean, a lot of people, yeah, temp agencies, a lot of people do end up getting full-time jobs.
mhm.
Are they at the level that we're looking for? I don't know. I highly doubt it. But, it could be, but I guess that's one way to go. We could temp agency, but again, other professional organization, we should contact as well.
And that was the point of trying to get Bruce on board for 2 weeks, a month, whatever, to recruit and train and point us the right direction.
He would go to those professional organizations, exactly what you're talking about, to get the right people in there.
So,
So you're right in the middle of a motion.
So
I was just suggesting,
I would entertain a motion to put it together, like, whether it be
Okay.
Bruce Smith and Melanie.
I would motion that we contact Bruce Smith to see if he's willing to come and help us recruit and train some new staff, and also we'll do one at a time.
Give us the direction that we need, kind of a roadmap, so to speak.
Mhm.
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
And that's bringing in Melanie.
We'll do another motion.
Okay.
Okay. Hearing none, may we have a vote?
Trustee Bethel.
Yeah.
Trustee Solid.
Yes.
Trustee Winklevich.
No,
Trustee Price.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Okay, you have another motion for that?
I would motion that we accept Melanie's offer as a volunteer as available to assist keeping office hours more regular and assisting Dusty as needed. Melanie Clark, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? May we have a vote, please?
Trustee Solid.
Yes.
Trustee Bethel.
Yeah.
Trustee Price.
Yes.
Trustee Winklevich.
yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Motion passes. And
Okay.
I would motion that we contact staffing agencies throughout the valley and send them our administrative assistant job description and job hours, asking if they have somebody qualified to temporarily help us.
And that's like would be the headhunters or whatever out of Grand Junction and whatnot.
SOS Landmark
Right.
are the two major ones I don't know about.
So your motion is saying that we contact employment agencies and professional organizations to advertise for our position.
Yes.
To fill a temporary position.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we have a vote?
Trustee Price,
Yes,
trustee Stalin,
Yes.
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Bethel.
Yeah.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Okay. So. Does that pretty much cover the administrative assistant, the finance director, town administrator? That's all being done. Item number 7, consideration of contract appointment for professional services of Dusty Corella as interim town clerk and treasurer. I guess since you've got all these extra duties at this point, I don't know what you have in mind for a fee or a salary, but
My cousin thought to being asked to tack on 3 additional positions. So number one, I'd like a revision to my original contract. Regarding my termination clause. Right now, my termination clause is 30 days. And I'd like to shorten that. I worry that if I get into a situation where I can see liability stacking on liability, stacking on liability, stacking on liability. I want to be able to leave. And I don't want to have to get 30 days notice. So I'd ask that that be cut down to 10 to 14 days. And then as far as my hourly rate goes, at this time, I'm asking for $90 an hour. That is the rate I've been charging you. Adding tripling. I've only been charging $30 an hour to do what I've been doing. Been very fair. I wish that when I had first interviewed, I was told certain things that haven't come to fruition yet. So I ask that each one of you commit to collaboration and teamwork and getting this done. You need to repair your community. You need to repair your relationships with the community. It is going to be a lot of work. And I'm not even talking the paperwork and everything that goes on beyond that.
right.
Yeah.
how long do you want to renew your interim contract for?
And we can do it for another 90 days. And I hope within that time that maybe it could become a permanent. I mean, originally when we discussed this, it was a 90-day plan with appointment.
Right.
Applying for that permanent position.
Right.
So I will tell you today, I'm still interested in that. We just gotta start moving forward.
Right.
We agree.
Plain
I
and
agree.
simple.
Agree 100%.
And it's gotta be collaboration between the staff in this building and the 5 of you. And we have to be able to work really closely together and really well together. And so this will give us another 90 days to see if that's something we can pull off and if that's possible. And then at that point, after that 90 days, you can make decisions and I can make decisions based off of that 90 days.
Okay. But. And anything that you can see that, you know, I don't want you to pull any punches or just be a straight shooter and say, this is what needs to happen.
I'm a straight shooter and I'll always be respectful.
We appreciate that.
I just asked the same in return.
Yeah, you bet. Oh,
There is no reason to be disrespectful to each other. We are a team and we need to represent us.
I agree. That's worth a lot right there.
Mhm.
So. If we can't do that, it won't make it work.
We need to work together. So I'd say we go forward with her contract.
So you're making a motion
Yeah,
that,
making one,
that we give her an 90-day contract.
do 90-day contract with 90 an hour. And 10 to 14 day. movements.
Termination.
Not notice of termination if she wants to.
Right.
So she's gonna give us a 2 week. Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we have a vote?
Trustee Winkleblack,
Yes.
trustee Price,
Yes.
trustee Bettel,
Yeah.
trustee Stalling,
Yes.
Mayor Wilcox.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Thank
Thank you.
Anything we can do to help
So number 8 is adjournment.
Can I ask something here though,
Go right ahead.
before we adjourn? So we've had a motion to talk to Bruce Smith about getting his advice on a full-time administrator.
Contracting him to help hire and recruit and review.
And we had a motion to contact temp agencies and the professional agencies to bring somebody on part-time, interim, to help us hire somebody.
9 full-time Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4,
Okay,
a part, temporary,
temporary,
temporary.
as we did today.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody of those qualifications to assist in.
No, to help with answering the phone, manning the door, and assist as Dusty needs with utilities and what she needs.
So what are we gonna do about getting a full-time town administrator?
That was why we motioned to ask Bruce to come in and advise on that.
That way he can give us the directives that.
Well, I think that we need to go ahead and just advertise for a full-time administrator, put it out there and advertise it for. I know a couple of people that I said, hey, why don't you come work for us? And they said, well, it's not advertised. Why don't we cut the quick and get to it and advertise it directly in certain publications and
Do you think municipal experience?
somebody with municipal experience to fulfill the job of town administrator.
That's what you said, you know.
I mean, it seems like we're putting it off.
You know a couple of people right now that have town administration experience that.
I know some people that I've talked to that asked them if they consider, but they said they haven't even seen the advertisement, so they don't even know what the requirements are, what we're looking at. That's why they're wanting to put it in.
Bring in
Put
Bruce,
it through,
so Bruce
put
can,
it out.
yeah,
Because he does have the experience and he would know if they would have what we need to. Fill those, so he can advertise for that, cause he's definitely gonna be temporary and. Just to help us fill those.
I think we need to weigh things. You know, I mean. You're my vote, a vote with no. Okay, I'm just saying, you wanna go that route, it's okay, you're gonna consult with them, but I don't see why we also don't just go ahead and advertise a position. And get resumes, and get opportunities and move forward.
we need somebody who knows what they're looking for. If we didn't know.
I don't know what we're looking for, it's right here on the status report, I don't know what we're looking for by the job description.
We got a verbal.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we advertise for a full-time position of town administrator. And we'll get the publications. I'm gonna make that motion. I don't need to argue about it anymore. We need to move forward. We brought Angie on board. We had her for 90 days. That didn't work, wherever it is now. We're gonna go to Bruce. I mean, Bruce has been here. He's been on the town board. He's been administrator. I get it. He's got the experience, but we're just delaying the process. So there's my motion. That we advertise for a full-time position for town administrator, get resumes, take a look at it, we set some time, and then we consider that as well as whatever Bruce has in.
Well, that's what we're,
That's one way to skin a cat. Well, you know what? I'm not saying we need a full-time administrator, well, maybe,
What,
you know,
what do we need?
well, you know, the thing is, maybe you don't need a full-time administrator, but the thing about it is, at this point in time, what we do is for Angie, for Dusty. She doesn't have the qualifications to do all of the things for town administrator right now. We need a town administrator. If you don't want full-time, then we'll say, 2 days a week, just like we had before, but we need a town administrator. I mean, we had one before, right? We had a town administrator / clerk / treasurer, right? We had 2 people, and I believe that that's all we really need. So, I mean, are we looking at Dusty training to become the town administrator / clerk? That's something that Dusty wants to consider?
We need separation of duties. It's
you're
completely
looking for
different.
clerk
skill.
and recorder and then getting,
My skills are in town clerk. I went to the Municipal Clerks Institute, that's where my training is, at the town clerk.
so what you
Have
have.
I worked with many? Yes, but I think town managers have a different skill set and bring different things to the table than a town clerk does. Their trainings are different, their skill sets are different. Do some of them commingle? Yes. They're meant to be complementary positions where they complement each other.
And as you're the clerk and recorder, and we get an assistant for you. And you're trained up, you can cross-train them as, say, a deputy clerk, so that if something happens to you, they can step in and do your job, or say you go on vacation, they can step in and do the job at the
Yes.
same time.
And I'm a firm believer in cross training. For that instance, if I get sick or something happens to me. I'm a true believer that that's how you survive. is cross training.
Don't call me when I'm on vacation. Do your job. And a deputy clerk has the powers of the clerk when the deputy clerk or when the clerk is absent.
And that typically in most in most municipalities is your administrative assistant. That person usually does that dual role. Because deputy clerk is a support role to the town.
Well, I'm on the same page as you are. So,
So who do we see fulfilling the responsibilities of the town administrator? Well, would be the town clerk.
that's where if Bruce is here temporary, he can make a recommendation to us, because he's gonna know if they really do have the job skill set, just like you called around and got highly recommendations for Dusty. When you did that, it was a no-brainer. But we should have done that with the other as well. And we didn't do that. That's on us.
Well, I guess.
Because my thought was that she was gonna be in here 4 days a week, or at least 8 hours a day, 4 days a week.
We didn't know to add that to the contract. We don't know what to add to a
Yeah,
contract.
right,
Gary.
that's why I think we need Bruce to lay that out on the line, and even if he has to drop a contract for a town administrator and find the town administrator, whether it's 2 or 3 of them for us to interview, and he recommends them and say any one of these would be good, but we pick them out, we do the interview and then we choose a permanent one. at least we have somebody in there that knows what to look for and what to interview for and what they're qualified for. That's all I'm
And
saying.
he also said usually it's a contract, it's not an employee.
Right, Bruce was a contractor at first when I first was on the board. He was a contractor, I believe, for 2 days a week.
And then after Davis Ferris came, I talked to an old board member, he came up here the day before board meeting, prepared for it, and then did grant underwriting from home and was billing like minimal hours, like 15 hours as a contract employee. We never had a full-time administrator. What I'm saying is it would be nice to have a professional who can show us what we need and what we need to look for and assist us on.
So are you saying that in the interim, then Bruce will also fulfill the responsibilities of the town administrator? Because we have none now, there are responsibilities that the town clerk cannot fulfill.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will, but we'd have to talk to him about that.
If he
I
will
can't
accept
speak
that
for
and
him.
be the temporary town administrator, just like Dusty is doing a contract for 90 days. If he will be the temporary town administrator and find us somebody that's qualified, whether it's Barb or somebody else, that's two days a week. Or if he says 3 days a week, whatever. We can go 3 days a week and then cut back if we need to, once things are lined out. I mean, we got some big stuff to take care of, like the water line for the user ditch.
I still feel that we're procrastinating, and we have to realize that there's some responsibilities that this town has. That are responsibilities that are fulfilled by the town administrator. If we don't meet those responsibilities, the county will. County will come in and dictate to us how it's gonna go. So I just feel we're procrastinating. We need to advertise, we need to get interviews and get somebody on board. Whether you think that you only want them for a certain period of time, we could talk about how much we want them, but we need to have somebody that's gonna fulfill those responsibilities, and it's not gonna be Dusty, it's not gonna be the clerk.
Right. That's,
So we're gonna have another meeting about this next week, because today we're having a meeting, nothing's gonna happen today, nobody's gonna go home, make any phone calls. We're gonna have another meeting, or we're gonna have to start calling Bruce Smith and whoever else you had. And have a meeting next week about it, you know, because she can't do everything, she can't throw out all this stuff without any help. And we're just here right now, so it's almost like we're beating a dead horse.
Well, I say we contact Bruce and see what he's willing to do for us, then we can have a special meeting, sign a contract with him and get his advice, what we need to do and move forward.
yeah, if he wants a contract, if he doesn't, we can still move forward.
And just have him do a hiring committee and advice.
Right, we're definitely not trying to slow the process down. If anything, we're trying to speed it up and get somebody that's qualified.
So we're calling Bruce Smith tomorrow, somebody. Because this is what you want to, right? But we need somebody now to get this ball rolling.
But that's not what I'm understanding, that Bruce is gonna be in that capacity, fulfilling those responsibilities. I'm understanding that Bruce is gonna be here to provide advice as how we pursue that. Not that he's coming here to be on board to take care of those responsibilities.
Right,
Unless,
I can't speak for him, we would have to contact him and.
let's contact Bruce Smith, find out what he'll do for us. And start rolling this. The shit should have been done, excuse my French, 3 months ago. When 3 months ago, should have started,
Well,
and it didn't.
Gary keeps mentioning that, there's certain things that need done, that we need a town administrator. What are those certain things that need done immediately that we need a town administrator for?
Well, I'd have to look at the responsibilities. I don't know exactly, Melanie, I don't know exactly, but I know that, I mean, what I'm saying is we've got like basically a long period of time without. Well, I mean, Andrew's fulfilling some of this kind of thing, but from this point going on, there's things, the financial responsibility, the budget, so on and so forth. So I can't tell you specifics. I'd be glad to sit down and go through it and get a list of things that I'm concerned about. Because I mean, again, I'm just to reiterate, and be redundant, I just think that we're not moving towards the getting a full-time, I'm not saying 40 hours a week, but a full-time individual that fulfill the responsibilities of the town administrator.
But if there's not certain things that need done like today. That we could, that then once Bruce looks over this stuff. And gives you the advice as to what you need to post and where to post it. Then maybe by the time these certain things do need to be done. You'll have somebody in here. I mean, they've been years with just the town clerk and the deputy clerk. I never had a town administrator here. I'm for 20-some years, my mom did the whole damn thing by herself. So, and she wasn't a town administrator, she was a town clerk / treasurer. But, I mean, if there's certain things, you've got Carla that's doing the grant stuff outside of the town. That's what your town administrator does. Your town administrator goes out and gets your grants, she takes care of your projects, makes sure those things are getting done. And Carla contracted to do that, so if there's not a specific list of things that. You've got to have an administrator for immediately, why not take the time to get somebody who's gonna be good?
At stake, not just a temporary.
And yeah, not just
I'd
temporary.
like to hire somebody that's gonna stay with this long term and grow the plan of the town.
I mean, we do still have some grants that are pending. Somebody's got to work those grants. I'll look at them.
So Carla's still handling
Two,
Donna's Hall and the mid-mile.
Mid-mile and the
and
auditorium.
Mason County is handling the school water. So,
There's only one thing that I have noticed that needs to be handled, and that's that bridge.
Well, at this point, we don't even know if Bruce is on board anyway.
And
And then you're-
Mike said that he lost his job, he was gonna contact the state patrol because he had the,
And that.
He had the
should be
accident
contacting them.
right.
That's his job. He's public works, and that bridge is public works.
so he's contacting the state patrol, has the case number, and having the state patrol contact the state to come inspect the bridge and go from there.
Okay. And then once.
So that is in progress.
I mean, there should be insurance involved there.
Right.
Part of it, like, a
Yeah.
claim will be back.
Yeah.
Let's wait on some paperwork.
Right, yeah, and until the state inspects it,
But it may be more than you,
that's not gonna.
because of prior damage.
but in the
That
meantime,
never ever got taken care of.
in the meantime, we have cranes and counterweights and semi trucks going over it.
But that's the only thing that I see, but I'm not here on a regular basis, but I'm an outsider looking in, and that is one thing that I see as a real.
Sure.
You got rebar poking out, you got the 4th of July coming up, you've got Memorial Day coming up, you got people that cross that bridge. And you don't wanna touch it, you wanna rope it off, but that's for darn sure. I would say you put caution tape around that sucker and don't let anybody cross it,
Right.
The foot traffic.
the foot traffic. Cause you could have a real big liability then.
Dusty, what's on the schedule for our next work session?
Next week.
Yeah. Do we need one? Cause I think we're gonna have to have a special meeting. So,
Do you tell me?
Yeah.
That's your job to decide.
Is it?
Sorry. When you need a. work-
Well, do you want a work session or a special meeting to see, do you wanna make the phone call tomorrow to Bruce Smith or?
I can call Bruce
Okay.
and see what he needs, and then I can touch base with Dusty and see what.
I can be here. Except Thursday, my next 2 Thursdays with the surgery, I will not be here, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I can be here for Wednesday.
Okay.
When are you leaving, Gary? You here for a while?
I'm here till the end of the first week of June.
The end of, okay, so Gary leaves. That's why. and no bill on Thursday. Norm,
I'm leaving, 31st, I'll be back this.
do you guys want me to call Bruce right now so that we can set something up? Is that code?
That'd be fine.
The 15th.
And then,
Let's
if
just.
he thinks we should have a special meeting, if we have a special meeting on Wednesday and he says that's fine, we'll have a special meeting on Wednesday or a special meeting on Friday. But it gives him,
We do 10 o'clock in the morning, so Dusty can go home.
yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be better for you, Dusty, if we do a special meeting at 10 AM so that you can go home and not have to stay here till the evening.
I want it.
That Thursday.
Wednesday, Friday,
Yeah, and you already have a meeting scheduled. Like it's on the schedule, whether we use it or not.
Bruce, this is Justin Price, from the town of Collbran. I was wondering if you could give me a call, 970-4332. Yes, we.
Yeah,
we
so you
did-
have one technically already on the calendar for next week.
Can we do an agenda policy
I believe
discussion?
you have one, but yeah,
We do have an agenda policy.
yeah, it'll, I haven't seen it. I've been told about it.
Can we discuss agenda policy and a fee schedule on the next week's Board of Trustee work session?
You don't,
No,
you tell me. So you want a fee schedule
discussion
discussion?
and agenda policy discussion. And maybe everybody can write down, you can Google, I look at other municipalities' agenda schedules or agenda policies and fee schedules and look and see what's important to you guys as board members. It would be nice for, us to have them in place. I know that the one thing on the fee schedule that was missing that we had an error on for like 10 years was the sewer and water tap fees was not on the fee schedule. And there was also septage waste removal, and we don't
That's
offer
our-
that.
The third, that's laid out specifically in a section within your code, it would be in the fee schedule, the fee schedule is only to call out items that were specifically called out and assigned a fee within that code.
Okay, so we
And
don't,
your tap fee should already be in there because it says $4,500 and then 200 times or whatever. it is.
nobody knew for 10 years what they were. And I know they were in the code,
Water under the bridge.
yeah. But, so I didn't know if a fee schedule would just be a nice quick cheat sheet so that nobody had to, go looking.
Guess my theory on that is I think your staff should be uberly familiar with your code.
Okay.
yeah, so the fee schedule for the taps, the building permits,
And the taps are in the code, they're called
Right.
out specifically.
right,
And the fee schedule is typically set to deal with all the fees and costs in the code that aren't specifically assigned a number at that point in the code.
Okay, gotcha.
Copies,
Mhm.
faxes, marshal reports, things along those lines that aren't necessarily laid out specifically in the code with a dollar amount already attached to.
Mhm.
Whereas like your tap fees, that section of your code provides that $4,500 amount, so it wouldn't have to appear in a fee schedule.
Okay.
You just have to know where to go to find that information in your code.
yeah, and that's, in town and then versus out of town.
Mhm.
Could you list the code on the fee schedule?
Did you make a reference to it? You could, I mean, you could go through logically, it's your decision. You could go through and list every fee, every charge, every cost that's mentioned in that code. And lay it out in a fee schedule.
But then
It
we're
just
looking at
becomes cumbersome
30 pages.
and nobody's gonna look at
Okay. I just didn't want to see us repeat the mistake of, and that's another thing, the worksheet still reflects the wrong price. On the website for the. If we could update that worksheet, there's a worksheet on the website for tap fees. And it says in town $4,500, out of town $4,500.
Also, your
And there's,
core request fee was incorrect, it might have gotten changed by now.
well, they did put a new price on the fee schedule, but the core request fee on our
On the
core request
form
form says 25 an hour, and on the fee schedule said 40 something, so.
it. And I know there's a stack of forms that are there.
Yeah, there's,
Updated,
there is,
have been there since January.
Okay.
And I've had to-
well, yeah, that's understandable.
I do have access to the website now,
Mhm.
so I will start going through that.
Yeah, one is somebody's completed, another resident's completed water tap fee schedule or worksheet is in there. So. yeah. There's two different ones, and one links to that, and one links to a blank one that's incorrect, so. Thank you, Dusty.
Meeting. Never did.
Bruce didn't answer. I'll have to get with him and see. Dusty, is it okay if we schedule a special meeting to try to accommodate you more since you don't have to stay late at night, like at 10 a.m.?
You're more, you schedule it around your guys' schedule here, but I appreciate that. Yeah, so if you wanna schedule it for,
Tuesday at 10 a.m.
We should shoot for our special meetings to be like 10 or 2 so that Dusty doesn't have to stay late.
You wanna do it Tuesday at 10 a.m., you wanna do it Wednesday, 10 a.m.,
I want to contact Bruce
right?
and see when he's available
Okay,
and see if he wants to prepare a offer, a statement, a contract, whatever.
so you contact Bruce and then get back with
Dusty.
Dusty, and then Dusty will contact us, and then we'll schedule a special meeting. So that it's at 10 a.m. and she doesn't have to. Stay there.
I'm scheduled at 6 o'clock for these
Yeah.
time people,
Yeah,
so that they can attend the meeting. Without regard to my.
Yeah, the regular
the
meeting,
regular, we can stick to that with them. In the past, though, I've read all the minutes of the last 10 years, and they did a lot of special meetings at 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
It's at your option. That's the difference.
Typically, a special meeting is just to discuss like 1 or 2 items, not a whole meeting, but
Typically you are correct.
yes,
Typically. you are-
yeah. Doesn't always happen.
There's
that way.
something I'd like.
Yeah.
okay,
I know once, and it was quite a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that they put in where if you got hired on, you immediately got insurance. There was no 60 days, there was no 90 days. You automatically had insurance, and I don't remember if it was, I don't remember, but I remember it was
Mhm.
2021, 2020, something like that.
Mhm.
I think it needs to go back to 90 days. That way, you know, we're not giving you insurance if you don't work out, you know what I mean?
so you're on probation for 90 days.
Absolutely, just like every other job.
I think that's kind of what it was when I moved up there, it was a 90-day probation.
Can we add that to our discussion for the work session?
Those would probably be amendments to your employee handbook.
But just for us to
Most of
discuss.
those will probably, you'll wanna run them through your attorney,
Okay,
just to make
Arguably.
sure that we're following, current law.
okay,
So I'd be happy to let him know that it has come up.
Okay. Good
Um,
advice.
And that you would like his advice on.
well, yeah, since we're getting all new people, you know what
Well-
I mean? People come and people go so far, so. If they're staying, then good.
And Wilson did say he would stay through the June meeting. So,
Do we know if the law firm we voted on accepted our offer?
I've asked Wilson to take care of that. He offered to, handle the contacting of the water attorney. And I did get an email from him today that he has been in contact with them, but just briefly to notify them that they were the choice. And that they will work together, and he will keep me posted on it, but they are in communication with each other.
They are well,
They're in communication with each other,
okay,
and they are aware that they will be coming to work soon.
okay.
Good. Are they on the, is a resolution to sign with them on our next agenda?
I presume once, Wilson finalizes everything with them, that will all come before the board, probably at that June 3rd meeting.
Perfect.
Okay, anything else? Right, I would say that we're at adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty.